T'as peu, là, je...
Oui.
Qu'est-ce que je viens de taper? Oh, ok. Excuse.
C'est tout le cast de Avengers que j'ai dessiné dans le perso, tu les as vus. Celui de Sébastien Stan, il est vraiment pas pire.
J'avais juste vu les...
Ouais, c'est ça, il y avait pas tout. Même il est malade aussi.
Ouais. Extra. C'est mince. Faites un crossface.
Puis t'as-tu vu les ratons?
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Whew. Sorry, guys. It's gonna be a bit wobbly at first because I need to set this up, as it won't let you set it up until you actually start streaming, which is a bit annoying. Okay. Okay, how's the audio? Can you guys hear me well? Oh, I will fix one thing before. Oh, yay. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit different because I really wanted to try and have the best color accuracy for this video, so I had to try and use the live streaming option directly from the YouTube app on my phone. So that means that I am not using my regular mic. So I really hope the audio is not that bad. You wanna say hi? Wow. She doesn't want to say hi. Meep, meep. There you go. Hi everyone. I see Ian, Almira, Patricia, Stephen, Rhiannon, Maria, and Victor, and Heather, and Tripti, and Dan, and Denise. Hi Denise. I'm French Canadian, so that's my accent. Hi Jacqueline. Okay, I'm just setting up. I apologize for the chair squeaks. I will try to limit them if I can. Okay. Ooh, hot chocolate with maple syrup. Mmm. Oh, I forgot to grab tea. Oh, okay, hold on. I gotta go get some tea. There is mug of tea. Yeah, the title of the video. I will it's gonna be a bit difficult to keep up, but I will try. And yeah, the reason why this live stream was changed a bit at the last minute is because it was brought to my attention that there has been quite a few videos lately about color primaries, and they bring an idea that is a bit outdated. It works. It's not wrong. It's not the wrong idea. It's a good concept, but I find it a bit outdated, and I feel like if you decide to follow that route for your primary colors, you will miss out on something pretty amazing in the form of the actual best primary triad you can have. Yeah, I have two live streams up. I'm sorry, it's just... Hold on, I'll see if I can remove the other one. Okay, sorry, that should be fixed. I'm really sorry about... No, it's just nothing going on right now, but I'm really sorry about that. I was trying to set it up the regular way and it didn't pan out, so I had to resort to using the app, the YouTube app, and stream directly from there, so that's why it's kind of just... a bit of a mess. There are some crazy cat shenanigans going on. Oh no! Oh wow! Aw, it's okay. Cyan is saying that they don't believe in primary colors, that they read one book that like broke the whole world for them. Okay, well, yeah, that's just kind of a quick, not a quick, but that's kind of an announcement thing I want to do because yeah, we often see that red, yellow, and blue make for a good primary triad in watercolors, and it's often present in the set you buy. Like if you buy a new set, chances are it's gonna feature um, cool and a warm yellow, and then you have a alizarin crimson and kind of a scarlet color, and then you have ultramarine blue and Prussian blue, and they're kind of missing out on something fairly simple but fairly amazing. That is basically the best triad is based on these three colors, or anything that is fairly similar to this pink and this yellow, because there are colors that are not exactly this pigment, but that are fairly similar to the hue, so that works. But yeah. So the colors I have with me are Quinacridone Pink by Daniel Smith. Quinacridone Rose is exactly the same color, so it works as well. I have Tallow Blue Green Shade, classic, and I have Azo Yellow from M. Graham. And with these three, you can really get an incredible range of color just by mixing these three. And I have everything around here to test it with the. I also have the this set by Daniel Smith, which is also really great. So yeah, we can see later why kind of red is a bit of an odd one for a primary color instead of the magenta color. Okay. If you have any questions at any time, feel free to ask. So these three colors, I have put them into this simple mint tin that I picked because it's white on the inside. So that's why I chose. I'm not a fan of using fins to paint, but it is practical. Just don't have a lot of mixing space. I don't know if you can see already like how this works well so far with just the yellow and the blue sort of slowly mixing together. Like I went toward the blue, but I'm gonna come back towards the yellow right after. It is Quin Rose or Quin Pink, Tallow Blue Green Shade, and Azo Yellow. So, this is not a triad I came up with myself. but I saw it on one of Tracy Lewis's posts, and I just fell in love with it because it is what you want in a triad. Like none of the colors are dull, none of the colors are weak. You can get like deep greens, super nice purples. A bit too green still. So yeah, that's kind of a bit of whatever, but you can still see like this range is incredible, and these greens are good greens. They're not faded, they're not muted, they're quite there, quite bright. Let me see if I can get a bit a better swatch of that blue green. There. I mean that's a lovely color. So yeah. I don't think my quinacridone pink has a strong odor. It doesn't really smell of anything. This tin still smells like the mints that were in it. Okay, so just next. This I say quin pink or quin rose not because they are the same pigment. Sorry, they are quite different pigments. One is PV19 and the other is PV42, but they are almost identical in hue and tonal value and everything. Just quickly grabbing my PV19 swatch, Quint Rose. So yeah, not much difference. Not really there in terms of difference. So really you can if you don't have the PV42 you can grab the PV19 and it's going to give you just about the same results. So yeah, the really interesting with the mix of the pink and the yellow in this case is that that's what will eventually give you your red. And in the proper proportions, these two colors they mix to a red. So you don't need to have a specific red in your palette, as you can just mix it from these two colors. Which is ultimately why red in the primary triad is sort of useless, because it takes away from your ability to mix super nice purples, and even the oranges sometimes they're not that mind-blowing, and you can mix kind of a red color with magenta and yellow anyway. I think one of the advantages of going for Quin Pink, which is always the same pigment, is that it's going to be more consistent than going for one of the PV19s, because we've seen that PV19 can vary a lot. It can be really more purple, it can be a really wide range of variants. So perhaps going for the PV42 will give you a bit more consistency in the color. red is not a primary color when you are working with something like watercolor. Depending on your medium, you might need red more, or you can have a good set. I think it's, well, I know it's Jane Blundell who talked about it, but she had like a blue, a yellow, and a pink, like a magenta, and transparent pyrrole orange. Which is almost a red. And with these 4 colors, she would have even more range. But yeah, if you really need red, you can always add it, like a specific one to these 3 colors, but you can mix red from magenta and yellow. So that's approximately the range of the oranges. After I'm done with this first demonstration of these 3 colors, I will be looking at the split primary colors, which is also a really good option. I mean, this is if you only want 3 colors, pick magenta instead of red, because it's going to give you a lot more options. Unless you want to do something muted, unless you really have something in mind. But if your goal is to have vibrant color and vibrant mixes, and to stay away from muted colors and neutralized colors, well, you don't need red, you need magenta in your triad. So this last mix is going to be purple. I will see about putting the picture that Tracy Lewis shared on her Instagram in the description, because she made a color wheel from these 3 colors and it is beautiful. It is really, really, really lovely. Yikes, that went dark fast. And you see, you can get some close to Indenthrone blue mix when you have the blue and just a bit of the pink in it. And you can get like this royal blue, super dark, inky blue, really easily. Yeah, Stephen is saying that he thinks the idea of primaries is of more interest to printer designers. In this case, how wide a range of color can be mixed from how few paints. I think that's a fairly good point, but I think that through their work, like the way they figured this out, because they had to figure out a way to get the most colors out of the smallest amount of ink, there is really something we can learn from them, because the way watercolor works is fairly similar to ink. It is transparent, it is diluted with water most of the time. So by taking inspiration from the way printer works with the cyan, magenta, and yellow, it can really help us choose the colors that will give us the best result if we only can bring a few. Like, you can bring these 3 colors with you on travel, and you're going to be able to mix most of everything you need. I talked about this when I did the watercolors for beginners series, because like mixing 2 colors like this is fairly easy, but when you want to, say you want to mix you need to mix a brown because you have a tree to paint. It can be a bit difficult at first to get used to how to mix these colors, but basically all you want to mix, you will be able to mix it with these three. And here in the lid I have it's dried up, but it's a neutral color made from mixing these three primary colors. And it is a nice, decent gray. I don't think that gray has any issues. So I will pick up the sheets, just hold on. Okay, so this was the chart I had done with the Sennelier sample set. And like if you want to mix any kind of color, you just start with a mix of two colors and you add in the third one. Like just as an example for this sheet, here the violet was a mix of the cyan and magenta. Well, all I had to do to get these colors is to add in more yellow. So it's a good exercise if you're starting and you don't really know how to take your primary colors. You always start with a mix of two, and then you add in the third color and you see what kind of colors you get from this mix. So it's a really nice way of getting used to your colors and learning what is available to you. And that's the best way to sort of learn this stuff and keep it in your brain. So I don't know if there's any questions. If you have any questions, feel free to share them, and you can just at me or write question in caps, and then the rest of your question like regular, as you would regularly type. Sorry. So yeah, this is just from these three colors, and if I were to bring in a red into this, it would already be so different. Like, the yellow is the Azo Yellow. Is this showing? Yeah. The Azo Yellow by Amgram. It is PY151. I think I saw in my swatchbook that Schminke has a color with that pigment. I think it's perhaps their Aureolin hue. Not sure, but yeah. Phthalo blue green shade is fairly standard, and the other two are either super common with the PV19, which is the Queen Rose, and the PV42, which is less common but really nice color. Question: would you plein air paint with just these three, given that more mixing space is needed, or so it seems? Yes, I would. I would maybe not use this tin, not necessarily, but I did it in the past. I painted, and I would just use like all the bottom here was a mess of color. Like I would have greens in this area and purples here and oranges there, and just make a mess. And it's easier to clean up the mess, like to pick up a color and mix a new one, than to have a lot of things to hold while painting. And I would keep like the neutrals in the top of the tin. But what you save in space by not having a lot of colors, you can convert into mixing space. So yeah, trying to think of a palette that would be well suited for that. But you could easily have any kind of plastic palette, like the really cheap ones. A bit like this one. This one has other colors in it, but just to give an example. And you could just have like, you put your yellow here, your magenta here, and you put basically the colors wherever you want, just three colors. And you can mix some of them in the other slots, and you have all this space just to mix your three colors. So it's fairly simple. And like I said, if you need to mix a brown, well, you just say you start with this orange color and you add some of the blue in it. And yeah, it might take a bit more work than it would normally, and you might have to go back and forth and mix the colors. Like, oh well, the blue is super duper strong, so let's just add some of this in there. And eventually, basically, you know, people complain about making mud. This is basically code for just mixing browns. So you just add all the colors you have on there, and you just look at it and this is a bit too purple and blue, so I'm gonna add the opposite color, and eventually you will get to the color you need. You really can't mix too many colors together because you just have three. So all you will ever be able to get with these three is not gonna be weird. It's not gonna be like the color that sticks out. You're always gonna be able to find your way around to the color you need just from mixing these three. Oh, bye, Denise. Uh, I hope you can rest and feel better super duper soon. We're all sending good vibes your way so that you feel better really, really soon. Okay, so just for the sake of demonstration, okay, I'm just gonna use the circles really quick. I'm gonna try to mix like the yellow. I keep the yellow and the blue, but I'm gonna pick probably this red from the Triad set by Daniel Smith, just to see what kind of mix we get from that. I haven't mixed this before, so it's gonna be a surprise. This is Perilene Red, by the way. I have Daniel Smith Lemon Yellow. Yeah, I have the one that is, I think one is PYA 3 and the other is PYA 175. Problem with, not the problem, kind of a good problem to have, but the problem with the M. Graham Yellow is that it is super intense right away. I'm gonna pull this out a bit so we can see it better. So, okay, kind of a really natural looking orange there. For those who are curious about these white tins, they're quite fun. I mean, the exterior is not super pretty, but they are the Zila tins. But there's always a fun quote on the inside, which I really think is fun. This one is by Albert Einstein. Example isn't another way to teach, it is the only way to teach. Huh. So I will try to, again, the blue is so intense, it's kind of difficult to yeah. Again, just pulling it out so we can see better. And this one. And this is where it gets a bit sad. As a person who really enjoy purples, I mean, this is a pretty color, but when you want a super bright purple and you get this, um, it's not great. It's not it's not a fun feeling right away. Like, where did I went wrong with this? Because I have the primary colors that everyone talks about, the yellow, the red, and the blue, and why am I getting such a muted color over here? Is lemon... I think they stop producing I know that when I wanted the Daniel Smith lemon yellow, I had to get it from Jackson's, like my local chain. Even if they store a Daniel Smith, they didn't have this one. I see a lot of questions about what other pigments will do in the chat, so I will put this aside just a moment and grab this, and we can take a look at what's similar. I hope it's not too glary. Yeah, okay, what's about it? Okay, so that's the Azo Yellow. So PY3 is a tiny bit cooler. Like it feels like it has a bit more of a blue or green feel to it, but you could probably work with this color anyway. I think if you want to work with a cyan, magenta, yellow primary thread, the goal is really to try and find a yellow that is neutral, like Hansa yellow from Mgram would work too. And Hansa yellow light, Holbein lemon yellow. Maybe not the cadmium colors because the opacity might not be desirable in this case. Hansa yellow medium would work too, I think. I have the one from Core here. And I know I have the Daniel Smith one somewhere. Oh, here. It's a bit more red. Like it's a bit warmer than the Azo yellow, so perhaps you would end up with muted greens if you picked Daniel Smith's Hansa yellow medium. Yeah, the Schminke Oriolin is the same pigment. On the camera. Is it better? Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, I won't be showing off dupes of the pink and the blue just because these are fairly common colors. While it's a bit more difficult to find the yellows, I find, but here is the Daniel Smith lemon yellow. So yeah, it could work really well. That's the other one. And I have Sennelier yellow light here. Perhaps a touch warmer, but still close. There is Schminke pure yellow. Seems like it could be interesting. Seems to be a bit more transparent as well. Like the Azo yellow is semi-transparent. So yeah, I don't know if that helps with all the questions about finding a dupe for this specific yellow. All the phthalo blues look the same. So from here, this one, like they're all the same hue unless you get to the red shade. That's something else, but this is the green shade. So basically, whichever phthalo blue green shade you have is going to be fine. And just to show a bit of the violets. So PV19 has a lot of variants. And that's what I was talking about. Like this Queen Violet is also PV19. So it may be more difficult to get always the same consistent color. Or you might have to try many PV19 before you get the exact shade you want to match the Queen Pink. Well, if you get Queen Pink, it should always be this color. Say you were to switch brands, and you might end up with a PV19 that is not a perfect match. don't know if it's the Sennelier yellow light that came in the sampler, but they are PY153 and PY154 are usually good neutral-ish yellows, so you're fine with either of them. Okay, so back to this. Would I recommend Quin Lilac as a substitute? Maybe not. Quin Lilac is cooler. It is PR. Like, it's not exactly the same Quin Lilac as this one. But it's the, you know, all the PR 122 colors. It's a good magenta, but you might, maybe you could have a bit more difficulty with the oranges and the red, or maybe not. It could work out fine still. I'm trying to see if I have one of them. Well, wouldn't you know, I have the Schmincke Purple Magenta over here, so we can try it. I'm gonna use the circles again because that's fairly easy to see. Okay, I'm decently in camera. Okay. So this is Schmincke's version of the same pigment, but it's the same color. This is not one of those pigments that has a lot of variation. Why not Quin Magenta or Perm Magenta? Well, just hold on. I'm gonna finish this and try to remember to check out on your question after. I don't think it's not gonna be a disaster with this magenta. It's gonna be fine, but you might be a bit more limited in the mixes, or maybe not. I mean, this seems pretty nice as well. We've already seen this green many times, so I'm not gonna be overly developing it, but this is gonna be interesting to see the super nice purple we'll possibly have here. So yeah, I think you could do something really nice with this the quinacridone lilac, or I used purple magenta from Schmincke because I had a pan of it just here, and yeah, it's super really it's a really super nice triad of colors as well. It's not like you find this color when you start mixing in a bit of the yellow, but it's a really nice base, and you get some really bright, super intense color. So yeah, that's a good alternative. Okay, so Quin Magenta. Let's see here. Well, okay, which quinacridone magenta? Because Winsor and Newton's and the Core's Quin Magentas are the same pigment that I just demonstrated here. Daniel Smith. Daniel Smith is a different color. Daniel Smith Quin Magenta is another pigment, and it's I think you could get something really nice because it's not that far from this one, but it's perhaps a bit more muted already, so I don't know if you would get as vibrant mixes as you would with this one. Try Opera as the magenta. Oh, Heather is saying that Daniel Smith Quinacridone Magenta does not work as a magenta. Just gonna really red black. That's Opera Rose and Queen Magenta. Keep on losing my circles. I will try with the Queen Magenta, and you'll be able to see on the spot what kind of mixes we get. So starting with Queen Magenta. It is a super pretty color, but it feels like it's less can I say neutral than the other ones? Feels like it already wants to be kind of a reddish purple. Ooh, no. See, that's not that that's a bad color, but if you want a bright orange, you're gonna not get it here. This is not a bright orange. How does it fare with the phthalo blue? Not bad. They're actually a really nice purple. So yeah, usually what happens is that when you get really muted colors, a really muted mix on one of the arms of a color triad like this, on the other side you're gonna get a nice color. Because if this red doesn't match up well with the yellow, chances are it's gonna match up well with the blue. So yeah, that's a decent purple. I don't know what you guys think, but as far as purples go, this works, but this is kind of a really weird, like if you were to paint something super orange, bright orange with this, it might not work. Okay, and there was another suggestion is to try this again with Opera Rose, which of course I will do because I like Opera Rose. This is Queen Magenta. This is the Daniel Smith Opera Rose. It is so bright. Makes me so happy. Well, it would have to be kind of a muted ginger hair. Really depends on the ginger hair. I think this could work for my shade of ginger hair, but definitely not the carrot color. Ta-da! This is super nice and pretty. That's why I love opera. It's just so outrageously bright. It's the opposite of a muted color, so it's pretty difficult to mute it that much. Oh, oh no, ultramarine and alizarin crimson is a bit sad actually. I agree that dioxazine purple is the prettiest one. Refresh this pink a bit before I add in blue. So yeah, if you want super vibrant mixes that are not very light fast, Opera Rose is a good mix. But yeah, the light fast issues are gonna be prohibitive for many people. So yeah. So I mean, this is an interesting palette still. It's a muted palette with limited color options, but you can get some really cohesive painting done with this because the idea of a limited color palette is not that you have to be able to mix every color in the spectrum with it. It's just that if you decide to paint with this palette, basically if you want to draw this pen, well, it's not going to be this color, it's going to be this color because this is the orange you get from mixing these colors together. So it's not about trying to match exactly the color of an item, but it's about translating the color of the item in what you get from your palette. Oh, bye, Bev. Thank you for stopping by. So yeah, there we have kind of the mixes so far. Trying to match everything in the camera. Oh, hi, Christine. Yeah, it's like Grace is saying, you fit the palette to the subject or the other way. Gotta get creative. Yeah, it's either you choose your palette to match the colors of your subject, or you have to adapt the colors of the subject to match the colors of your palette. Okay, so this is and I've done a review on it already, like the Daniel Smith Essential set. If you really want to start with primary colors and you have no real idea of what you're getting into, this is an excellent set to begin with because you have exactly this going on. You have a warm and cool version of every color, so you can basically mix either super vibrant colors or super muted colors. If you want vibrant, you try to match the colors in a way that will not counter each other. I think it was Theo Yichi who explained it rather well, but say you have two reds and this one is warm, this one is a cool red. Basically means that this one has some kind of yellow to it and the cool one has some kind of blue undertone to it. So if you want to mix a purple and your choices are two blues, one that is a bit warm, so it has This is the weird one, but it has a bit of red in it. And this one is a bit cool, so it has a bit of yellow in it. Well, if you want to mix a purple, you have to try and limit the letters in your mix. So if you mix these two, you get the red with its blue and the blue with its red. So basically all you have is blue and red. You're gonna get purple. But if you mix with this blue, so you got the red with its blue and you got the blue with its yellow. So yeah, you have a lot of blue in there, but you're gonna end up with the opposite color, because the red and the yellow are gonna make for a kind of an orange hue, an orange mix, and this orange is the opposite of the blue, so you're gonna end up with a more muted purple. Otto was asking, if we were to color the color perplexed green, which would we pick? I agree with Marissa that Cascade Green could work fine. So yeah, that's basically all there is to it. It's not about realizing that you've made mud. It's just that these colors, since you end up with kind of the opposite color to the base color, well, you end up neutralizing the color, so you're gonna end up with something muted. That's just all there is to it. In the other way, if you have a color and you don't really know if it's warm or cool, you can try mixing it with any other color in the warm and cool version and see what kind of mix you get. And the mix that's going to be the bright color is going to be able to tell you what's the temperature of your color. So is there any question about this color primary and why red is sort of a poor choice for a primary if you want to mix super bright colors? If you want to have a muted palette and have some kind of limitation in your color range, go for red, no problem. But if you want to have all the options for super bright color and a very limited risk of mixing a brown, then forget the red and get some magenta color. An earthy primary. Okay, sure. Gonna refer to the good old swatch book to see what I can do for the blue. No, no, I will draw a cat. I will draw a cat, of course. Oh yeah, Dan has a good earthy primary triad there. Using a good PR 101, a yellow ochre, and cerulean blue. Though cerulean blue is super nice, bright blue. It gets earthy in the mix, but in itself, it's not a very earthy color. Yay, welcome back, Val. So definitely yellow ochre is like the number one earthy blue. blue, yellow. Yellow ochre here, and I want to try with Mayan dark blue. And I just need to find a red that makes me happy. I will try with this, but I am not exactly psyched. We'll see. But I got Naftamide Maroon, Yellow Ochre, and Mayan Dark Blue. Just to see what kind of mix we can get from these three colors. Again, circles because it's just much easier. I do not have the Mayan Red. I have Mayan Blue, Mayan Dark Blue, and Mayan Orange. This is a bit purpley though. Maybe not the best choice. I don't think I have... I should have grabbed like Pearly Maroon, but I don't think I have it from Daniel Smith. I'll try after. I have it from Windsor and Newton. It's actually quite nice. This is the Yellow Ochre from Daniel Smith. Vivianite is a super nice color, but it is so expensive. It is really, 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 really pricey. I wanted to try it for myself, so I bought this smallest amount because it's that expensive. So it's not going to be in the shop really, it's not going to be a feature of the shop, but I wanted to try it for myself because I feel like there aren't that many blue, nice earthy pigments available for when you want to mold your home paints. But yeah, it is like 32 USD for 10 grams at Kremer. So it is not expensive, and I don't know a lot of people who would pay like 20 USD for a half pan. That may be reaching a bit. So yeah, that's not bad. That's not so bad that it's impossible to do anything with it. I'm opening a lot of boxes today. This is another really nice trad that has great earthy colors. Muted colors perhaps, but I got it from Jane Blundell's webpage. It is Indian Yellow, Anthraquinone Red, and Indanthrone Blue. A lot of weird names in there, so that's why I hesitated for a second. Quickly again. This is just a small koi watercolor pocket. That was the 12 color Sakura koi set that I just ripped apart and reused the box because I like it. This is a really nice thread, I find, if you want something a bit more muted and natural. Because I find that the colors themselves are quite vibrant, but they are not like this super duper intense cyan, magenta, yellow that we've seen. A good tip I read on limited palettes is basically just the exercise of going willingly to a palette, to a set of colors, and saying, well, this color is going to be my yellow, this color is going to be my blue, and this color is going to be my red. And to some extent, you could really go far with this logic. Like, you don't really have to contain it to anything, so you could go, I'm just going to grab whatever is on my desk, but this is my yellow, which is kind of a yellow enough, but this is my blue. It's green, actually. So basically everything that's blue would be this color. So it's a different exercise, and I could use like opera if I really wanted to have something weird going on. But it's just the mental exercise of transferring what you are saying into what you have accessible to you. So yeah. Oh, I will write. This is naphthalide. Sorry, naphthalide. Naphthalide. And this is Mayan dark blue. Really like Mayan dark blue, by the way. It's such a nice color. This is yellow ochre, and this one here is so Indian blue, Indian yellow, and it's anthraquinone red, I think. Not to be mixed with the anthraquinone scarlet that Dan doesn't have. No, these are all Daniel Smith. So I will try one last one, and then I'm gonna move to drawing cats a bit, just to keep the idea that this is a Caturday live stream. Of course, it was the last palette on the bottom. Oh, look, I'm gonna try with these. I'm gonna try this Perline Maroon, Queen Gold from Winsor & Newton, and their Indigo. Because, well, no, I'm not gonna do that, because that's basically what I did here. It's like these colors, basically, because this red is fairly similar to that one, the Queen Gold is fairly similar to that one, and the Indigo is kind of similar to that. Well, I can try it if you guys want to see it, but might not be super exciting. What was the blue you showed that looked green? Oh, well, that's not blue, that's legit green. But it's just using a green as the blue in a palette. Like, so everything that would be blue is actually green. That was what I was talking about. Are you guys coming up with the perplexed palette? I want the list of the perplexed colors when I'm done. That sounds amazing. Okay, so just for the sake of having all this stuff out anyway, I think it's a good exercise in a way to just grab whatever paints you have and try to do these mixes just to see what you get. You could try mixing like yellow ochre and Mirandar blue with opera rose and see what you get. It doesn't have to be like a nice result for you to learn something from it. Actually, you might learn more from the weird stuff that could happen. Just my 2 cents anyway. Okay, so I'm trying. This color always looks like blood. Pretty intense in that way. But that's again, that's Berlin Maroon, but by Windsor and Newton. And Queen Gold, again by Windsor and Newton. Mother's Pink could be a really interesting red slash pink in a really muted palette. This is pretty. That's Hall U because that's Windsor and Newton. So they never really had the real stuff in a very long while. So yeah, that's still quite lovely. It's fairly similar to this one, but you get the much more muted purple with these colors than the other ones. Just trying to get a better sense of it, but I'm doing a really poor job. So sorry. I'm tempted to try one last thing. Grab it. Oh, good. Temple is saying that they that they think I've done so many credits that they're starting to get it. How to mix the third color to adjust the two already mixed. Yeah, that's really all there is to it. Because everything you'll ever be able to do is going to be achieved by mixing your three colors because that's all you have. So um, if you want something different and you already have two colors mixed in, the only thing you can do is either change the balance of these two colors or add in the third and then adjust. So I picked up my Potter's Pink because I think it is decent enough, and I just want to mix it with the absurdly bright colors we started with, just to see what kind of mess we end up. That's kind of a really, really muted color. Really weird. It's brown, basically. It will probably granulate quite a lot. And you get kind of a muted pink gray on the other side with the blue. The fun thing is that this is Potter's Pink, so it's going to granulate like crazy. And that could be a fun palette to work with. But it's what you make of it. It's basically if you have a super bright red apple, well, the super bright red apple is probably going to be something like this color. So I'm not saying that it's going to make a masterpiece. I'm just saying that it's going to be an interesting exercise at least, and then you can figure out something really amazing along the way. So yeah. Yeah, I was really fortunate that the Potter's Pink I was able to mix was um, like really good. I, I I went into this color expecting it to be a pain in the butt to mix, but it went really well and it's super smooth and easy to wet and it behaves perfectly well. So I'm really psyched. And now I'm gonna mix it with Opera Rose. I think everything is made better by mixing Opera Rose in it. There, isn't that pretty? I bought, um, like, I received enough questions about the Potter's Pink that I bought some more pigment and I will try to recreate the color. Because that's the thing with handmade paints. It's not made by a machine, it's made by me. So I gotta be able to mix it again, but if the batch turns out fine, I will have a few bands in the shop. What's the deep blue, black, gray on the top? Where? It's kind of a mess, actually. Look at this. This is pretty cool. Like all the heavily granulating Potter's Pink affecting the colors. It's kind of interesting. My Potter's Pink, Toto, um, is actually really easy to re-wet. That was one of my goals when I decided to buy a small amount of this pigment to try and mix it, is that I love this color. I love this muted, like, pink, reddish color. It's something I really enjoy, but all the all the two paints you buy when it gets dry is a pain in the butt to re-wet. So I wanted to see if by working with like my own binder and my own muller and mixing my own pigment, if I could make it easier to wet, and it did work. It's super easy to wet, like easier than ultramarine blue or yellow ochre can be. I am not a lean, mean fighting machine, but I could be a mean fighting machine anyway. The dark blue mix looks like satellite. Possible? I've mixed quite a few. Oh, hi, Paolo. That's so fun. That's so nice. Christine is saying that after watching my earlier paint making video, they were very tempted to buy pigments and have them sent to me just to see me make more. Possibly get some paint out of it too. Yeah, that's for sure. That's if someone sends me pigment just for me to make paint, um, they're gonna get some paint back. That's a given. Peko was begging for food. No, I'm not sure what she's doing. There was Scout earlier that you heard complain about me picking her up. But yeah. Okay. I can grab another sheet and do a couple more Upper Rose mixes. Is there a color that the chat would agree that is like their least favorite colors? And if I have it, we could try mixing it with stuff to see if there's a way to find something interesting about the color. A mix of Quint Pink Rose with my Potter's Pink. Not yet, but I will. I just need to grab a new sheet because mine is getting a bit crowded. I am apparently accepting of all colors. Well, I am. I like them all. Like, okay, so. So a lot of opaque colors that are coming up. Oh, Dan, that won't work. Dan is saying anything from Holbein apart from that ultramarine blue. I love Holbein, so you're preaching to the wrong choir. Okay, so Potter's Pink and I think that's lovely. That's the Queen Pink Rose, this one, with the Potter's Pink. Fellow Green Light, is that from Senelier? I'm just gonna put away some palettes. This is getting a bit intense. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm just gonna start with. I have Chromium. Should I play fair and use? Yeah, sticking to primary color could be interesting, but I can also quickly mix one or two colors that are fairly disliked. I also kind of like chrome oxide green. I have it here from Daniel Smith. And while it's out, I think I'm gonna swatch it just quickly to see how it compares to the version I mixed myself. know that a lot of people don't like this color. Brad is saying that they hate ultramarine. I'm not a fan either. Not because it is. I like the hue and I like when when Dan makes it, but aside from that, it's really hard to mix, and I find it really. I find the weak tinting strength to be really annoying. Okay, so this is my own chromium oxide green. I think it's a bit more opaque. It's fairly similar in hue, but it's perhaps more finely molded than. Heather, I think Spaz really has earned its name. His name? So just for fun, I am mixing chromium oxide green with the my water is getting really gross. But yeah, with the primary we spoke about in the beginning. See, that's kind of a pretty green. People get their panties in a bunch over the disappearance of Queen Gold genuine thing, but the hues are really quite nice. They'll never be exactly the same, but considering that the real stuff is gone, it's really not that bad. I can. Get a color fairly similar to Butcher's Pink from these two. It's even gonna granulate. So yeah, really a bad color. Not in my book. Like, this one is actually quite nice. I have a good stock of Queen Gold. I think I have at least 5 or 6 tubes. When in doubt, mix it with Opera Rose. It's my motto. I made this palette with a focus on opaque and granulating colors, so it has a lot of the Primatech colors I have, and it has a lot of like Venetian red, and this is Mars yellow. And yeah, I quite enjoy it. I have a lot of fun with it because it is so different. And when you paint with these on rough paper, on super textured paper, it's amazing. It's like new stuff happens, and you can layer them, and they get so rich and intense. I did a couple of really bad abstract paintings. Just for the sake of playing with these things, and I mean, yeah, sure, it's yellow and brown, but is it ugly, really? I don't really find it ugly. It's just, this is different colors, and this one is more blue and green, and this one is more red and purple. This one is sort of dark and green, and it's just the colors. So I sort of borrowed this idea from Otokano because I fell in love with her small paintings she did. So yeah, this is kind of an interesting color, isn't it? Or perhaps it is just me, but look at this one. This one is quite nice as well. And this is a nice green, and this is kind of a weird purple pink with like a pinkish undertone and some weird green granulation. But how is that any less interesting as an effect than you would get with something like Rose of Ultramarine? Perhaps not the best match of color, but it's still fun. Cobalt Violet by Daniel Smith. I don't have it. There's only. Am I finished with them? Not sure. I think this one is mostly done. Well, yeah, I think they're all mostly done. I wanted to try the paper I found that is made in Montreal. So it's not the best to put tape on. It seems like the tape wants to leave with a bit of the paper, but as it's super textured, it's really not that bad. Yeah, I don't understand where people find their tape that does not ruin the paper. Like, this is supposed to be drafting tape, and it still leaves, like, it still rips off a decent amount of paper. So yeah, I realize that this is something I don't do enough. Like, just playing with paints and tools and granulation and just mixing things, and because that's a good way to learn as well. So I started making these, but really go check out Otto's channel. She talked about doing something like that. No, I haven't tried Jackson's tape. Perhaps I should. So yeah, this is just for fun, and I got a few others that I've made, but I've put masking fluid on it just to see what I'll be able to get. So yeah, just for fun, just but this is all like Mars yellow and brown colors and red and Venetian red and kind of stuff, but I don't know, I find that there's always a context in which a color can be super great. Super great. I usually remove it with the 45-degree thing, but For these, I just went straight ahead because I knew that this paper is handmade paper in a way. So first of all, it's not going to show that some paper was removed from the edges, and then it's going to be fairly impossible. Like it's too textured to begin with to make anything out of it. All right, so I guess it's time to draw a cat, right? Is there anything else, any other mix like that you quickly want me to try? Cat time. Just gonna tidy up a bit. I'm just storing away the things. I've never done a color chart with cat faces. That really so cute. Oh yes, Heather, I want to see. And cheap plastic palettes are really great. Don't speak ill of yours. I mean, they are really handy, and usually like they last for a long time. And if one breaks, it's not the end of the world because it's a just a regular plastic palette. Gonna grab a pencil. Christine is saying that they can't let themselves paint something so abstract. A good way to do abstract work, I think, is if you have a small surface. Like you could try having just, like, when you cut paper, sometimes you have strips that are left, and you just use a leftover strip of paper, just have a tiny area. And you grab like a brush that is way too big, and you just add some color in there and water and see what happens. And if you don't like it, the only thing you can do is add more paint on top, and you add paint on top of it until it's maybe something you like. And if it's still something you don't like, then you can spray water, let it sit, and remove it with a paper towel. See if that's something you like, and then you can start making marks on the paper. And you just like, I don't think that you need a plan necessarily if you want to try to do some abstract little pieces. You just do a thing and then look at the thing and then add something else and then look at the new thing and then add yet another thing on top, and just yeah, like Otto is saying, you just play. You can start from your favorite color, you can start from your least favorite color, and then add stuff on top to try and make something you like. And the worst case is that you're not gonna like the final thing, and you can just put it in the garbage recycling bin. So yeah, it's not so big of I haven't done a lot of it truly, but I've been inspired by Otto and what she's told me about abstract, about just playing with the paints. And at some point, when you have so many paints that are interesting, like Potter's Pink and Green Earth and it's a lot of fun to just play with these because you get to see the beauty that's in them. Okay, cat, cat, cat. I can't see the picture right now, Heather, so I'm gonna try. I should check the picture and try to draw a spaz. Oh, that's so cute. What a little bean. Oh, I love cats so much. They are so cute. Okay, let's try doodle this. That's a paw, right? Underneath the chin. And then there's another paw that's like dangling. Such a funny pose. And then for some obscure reason the butt is over there. And there's another back paw like coming back on top of the pallets. It's so funny. Um oh, it would be difficult to show the picture. How can I do this? Hold on, I'm gonna try something. Hopefully it's not gonna be too bothersome. And then the tail sort of curls back around. Wait, it's way too far. Like this. And then there's a stack of pallets there. Okay. Just it's gonna go black, so just bear with me. Oh nope, not gonna work. Or wait, no, not work. Let's really. Okay, can you guys see the picture? Alright, back. I'm covering up the camera as I move so it's not too jerky. Okay. Are we back? Yes, I think we're back. Okay, good, good. I hope that was okay, Heather. Maybe I should have asked. Sorry. I didn't think to ask if you were okay with me sharing your picture. But it is so cute. So freaking cute. Oh, such a cute kitty. Let's try and. If there is one thing that no one will ever have to coerce me, like roughly into drawing, it is cats. I love cats. I might not do a good job, but I love it. kind of difficult because I have my roll of tissue, not tissue paper towels, like hiding my screen from where I'm sitting. Aw, thank you guys. I really appreciate the support because I always feel like that. We are our artist critics. So whenever I draw cats and it doesn't pan out like I want, I'm like, how do you even do this? What kind of cat mom are you if you can't even draw your kids? Unless it's cartoony. This is a good case of a cat going, yes, yes, this is comfortable, I'm fine, this is great, I want to sleep here. This is the best thing ever, and no, it's not awkward or weird at all. I'm good. I'm good. When you know they're not. Jazz is so Jaws. What? Jazz is a lot of fun to draw. Like a hamster is sort of easier to draw because it's less um, maybe a bit less of a contortionist. Like it's basically a being with tiny paws and a face and with tiny ears. But a cat has like weird stuff going on. Like the way they can have like their face in one direction and the butt in the other direction. It's perfectly comfortable for them. And you're like, how do you even work, cat? What's going on? Yeah. Maybe chat is a hamster loaf. Jazz is a fat ham. It's really funny because it's also ham for, ham. And ham is usually like round shape. Cats are dang noodles, that's really true. Dan is talking about eating hamsters, and I'm not sure I get it. Oh, yay! Cyan has just shared with us that that they will be getting a puppy in 7 weeks. Puppy! Congratulations on the puppy. Squeaky chair. Fun fact, if you are looking for something that you can ink a drawing with, but that will be waterproof and that is super inexpensive, good old ballpoint pens. Not the gel pens, stay away from those, but this is a big orange fine black ballpoint pen that, sadly enough, I had to order in from the UK. But I really wanted this specific model and it's not available here, so yeah. But that's waterproof and eraser proof and many things proof. Did I miss a question? Thanks, Stephen. I think we were all thinking that. I've never had dogs, so sorry, I don't have much to say about this dog conversation going on. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm with Dan here. You can't beat a cat in terms of awesome pet. All pets are pretty awesome, so really you can't go wrong. But I will forever be a cat person. I think I still would be interested in having a dog one day, just because, well, I don't have a lot of experience on it, but Mr. E has had dogs, and and I mean, it's just about interacting with the animal, and I think it could be interesting, and I would love the dog anyway, but cats are so easier. Cats always smell good. Like if you put your face in a cat, you're never gonna be met with wet dog smell or other weird things. Cats, unless they've had the code brown type of accident, they smell amazing. And you don't have to manually bathe them. They do it all on their own. In fact, if you try to bathe them, they will sort of shred you to pieces. Oh yeah, that sunny cat smell. If your cat spends like a good time in the sun, that they become all warm, they smell so good. Scout likes to sleep in the fresh laundry, so she smells amazing when she gets up from there. Like we don't add anything special to the laundry because sensitive skin issues and all that, but just to, the soap we use has a super subtle smell. But since she sleeps in the pile of stuff and their fur still absorb a bit of the smell, so she smells amazing. Well, if your cat is an outdoor cat, it's gonna be another story because I think it's a bit more difficult to wash yourself when you have to like also wash off like sand and other places you might have been to. Like when you see rescue stories, often the cats they will stink because they can't properly care for themselves. But if you have an indoor cat that is like not having any issues, the cat's gonna smell amazing. And yeah, I mean, Pico stinks when she goes to the litter box, but she doesn't stink afterwards. Like when we go to the bathroom, we can do stinky business there, but we usually don't stink of that after. Like with it, any animal that has kind of a litter box, whether it's a bunny or a hamster or a cat, if you don't clean it up, it's gonna smell, of course, because it's there, and it's a bit like never flushing the toilet. At some point, it's gonna stink. But if you take care of it like regularly, it's not gonna have any smell to it. It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna try and add a bit of color to it. This is the core set, haha, but the small travel set from Core, and I still really like it. It is awesome. As you can see, I've already made a substantial dent in the ultramarine blue because it is a color with such a weak tinting strength anyway that I need a ton, and I've painted a lot of things that were super dark blue. So yeah, I really enjoyed this set, and I got it thanks to you guys. So it has a special place in my heart. It's fairly unique in that sense. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Heather. By the way, if I drew your pet at some point, whether it's in a past stream or something, um, chances are that if at some point we are sending stuff out to one another, I will try to include the sketch in the package because I have limited space. And yeah, while I love these sketches, I think like the owners of the pets might appreciate them maybe more. And I'm sorry, Grace, I meant to send to you Sue, but I forgot. so I will have to remedy that eventually. Oh, by the way, did you get the stuff I sent you, Grace? Has it made its way to you yet? How's the Silicon Park holding? I haven't used it a lot, to be honest. I kind of reach for the lid more just because I'm more used to it, but it's okay. It's kind of weird a bit. I think it picks up on dust as well, like, but it's not really annoying or anything. I don't really mind. I like it for holding the pans in place. That's a nice idea compared to the metal thing that will grab your pans. Like the pans in there, they are never moving. They won't rattle, they won't fall down. They are holding super fast. But yeah, the mixing squares are maybe not super awesome, but it's okay. Oh, you got it, Grace! Yay! I was a bit worried because sending maple syrup, it's usually in bottles, and bottles they can break. But yeah, oh, I'm glad, really glad. And I sent you like some really unique syrups that have fairly unique tastes as well. So I really hope you guys will like it. Let me know. Yes, yes. I'm just gonna like put this brown color down. It's not a perfect match for it, but I saw a couple of questions go by. Have you thought of selling your paint sketches? Like the animals I sketch like that, and or just what I do in the videos when I review paint. Like which paint sketches? I I sent like a thank you package to Grace because she sent me a really nice package that I have yet to share the unpacking. Well, I think I did I post the unpacking or did I just film it? But she sent me a nice package and I had to send her like some paints and stuff like that. And at some point we got talking about maple syrup, so I had an opportunity to get great tasty syrup and I sent a bit to her as a thank you. I still owe a couple of thank you packages to people, so just be patient. I'm slow on this stuff. um, okay, just wait a second. Okay, yeah. So okay, I have a bun that I'm gonna send to Cyan next package. Uh, Here I have Leo, Sue, Zygmunt, and Sir Willy Tobby. And here I have Shamut, and Sux, Dory, and Dante. And if you want your sketches, of course I will send them to you, no problem. Just either leave me a message or write me an email. And yeah, sure, no problem. How many tastes can maple syrup have? It depends on how concentrated it gets. Like you can boil it down to a really dark concentration, and it's gonna have a different taste than if you pick some lightly boiled down syrup. And depending on the trees and the areas, and like I think sugar maple is a specific tree, but truly depending on how they do their business, the syrup that I found from a local sugar shack. It's called Escuminac, and it's pretty amazing. It's a bit fancier. I mean, all maple syrup is good, but this one has something a bit extra. Oh yeah, Temple said it. Maple syrup is graded, and different trees produce different flavors depending on the environment. So yeah. Where was I? As you can see, if this? Oh yeah, like the silicone surface. This one I've maybe used a bit more, and it started beading less, but it definitely keeps like I'm trying to pick up this orange stain in the background, and it's not gonna be removed. So I haven't tried to clean it up yet because I don't really mind personally, but if you like your palettes to be pristine, this could be an issue. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Heather. um, Marissa is asking, are you still using that Holbein gouache, Captain? Well, yeah, I mean, it stores my acrylic gouache. And it's over there, and every time I look at it, it makes me super happy. Did you see that? I put the color down and it sort of went whoosh on the silicone. It's really weird. It's weird in a fun way, like I'm enjoying experimenting with it. Okay, pattern. Well, I really love tabbies. Those patterns. They are something else. I have a cat shrine on my desk just over there. Makes me happy as well. I wish someone would make a book about tabby patterns. Just pictures of tabbies, like when they are laid down or curled up, and you can see the patterns. Because I wonder if they're all unique in their patterns, and it's so intricate and weird. Like this happens not randomly, but like naturally. And I don't know. I think it's fascinating. Yeah, 30 is the other pattern I would love to see a compilation of. Because what is going on there? Like, what you can have turtles that have a split face, and some will be really like mixed evenly, and others will be like really whatever. Like Scout is a super dark tabby turtle. When she was a kitten, she looked almost completely black. I think it's fascinating. The brush I'm using is a golden Teflon brush by Treckle, which is an American company. And if you are in the US, it can be worth it to check out what they offer because they have some really nice brushes. Trekel.com. Oh, yes! Heather, you know you have to send me cat pictures anyway. Oh, Marissa is saying that most black cats are actually calico, except males. Perhaps for female cats, but um, male cats couldn't be black, couldn't be calico they would have to be black cats, or perhaps like super dark tabbies with the black something going on, but they cannot be calicos. Just can't, because that's a ladies only club. I haven't seen Glenn Arthur's work. I'll have to check it out. Disney is saying that they refuse to subscribe to any channel on YouTube that has a perfectly neat desk holding a succulent plant and a candle on it. Thanks for the laugh. That's a good one. Yeah, this is might. What are you? Nonsense camera. Anyway, this might look like a clean desk, but it's only because you see, well, you see like these confines of it. You don't see what's outside of the confines. But oh yeah, outside of this area, it's definitely messy. Oh, okay. So Glenn Arthurs is the artist that Trickle endorses. I've had these brush for a while, so I haven't checked the website in a bit. Maybe that's why I missed it. Yeah, that's why well, I covered the camera as well because I didn't want it to get all like wobbly and erratic, because I know that's not super pleasant. Like when I'm recording for my regular videos and the camera falls down, that has happened, or I had to move and I saw the footage that it gives, and it's really not pleasant. It's not a fun time, so I figured that it was nicer to you guys to cover it up. Oh yeah, I'm in my pajamas today. I mean, working from home, there's got to be advantages, right? Right? I used to hate it, hate it when I was working like a regular job with regular people, because you spend so much time just looking presentable, but that would often mean I have to do that. I really prefer to be comfortable when I'm working, especially when I'm painting, because um, I can pay more attention to if my body is tired from painting, rather than just not comfortable from being dressed a certain way. Oh, this turned out a bit more beige than I wanted, but there's one thing that I started noticing about the corset. The corset is like eventually when it's gonna run out, I wonder if I'm gonna keep these reds that it has. They are really lovely, but I kind of prefer a different magenta, just so I can more easily reach for it and get kind of a good color. But the mix of these two is really nice. Just requires more work. So perhaps I should have a dedicated mixing area just for mixing these two, so I don't have to mix it all the time. And I can just reach for that dry swatch and put it back in. Oh no! Plug in your laptop, Marissa. Yeah, real clothes are overrated. I see people complain a lot about wearing leggings for pants, and I don't get it. Or maybe if they are like super naturally comfortable people, I don't know, but I've tried legging for pants and it's actually quite great, so just wear a tunic or a longer top and yeah. Alright, so yeah, it's been like over 2 hours, so I think that I'm gonna call this done. Yeah, so basically today was about ranting slash talking about the fact that red is a very poor color for mixing a super bright and brilliant primary set. And that you are far better off with kind of a magenta color instead of a red if you want to mix the most brilliant colors, because while a red will give you kind of a nice orange, it will give you a very muted purple. And if you have more of a magenta color, you still get red, orange, and super nice purples. So yeah, that was the main focus of today. And then we had a bit of fun just trying different mixes and primary colors and talking about how a limited palette is basically just like an exercise of the mind, more than just an exercise of color, and that you can either match your palette to your subject with plenty of colors over here, and then a bit more color here, like examples of chromium oxide green with different colors in it. This was Potter's Pink with Opera. This is the where is it? This one with this green. This is the yellow. I'm not even in the camera. Yep. So this green, this yellow, and this is the blue, all mixed with this, and just some other mixes. I think this is again this green, but with opera, because you gotta mix opera into everything. This is like a Venetian red color with opera. This is Mars yellow with opera, and this is Spaz. So yeah, Spaz is one of Heather's cats, and he did something really silly and cute. So of course I had to doodle it. Again, if you want me to send you the doodles I do of your pets, feel free to reach me on either in the comments or on email. Like my email, it is boltsvolt@gmail.com, so it's fairly simple. And I will send you the sketches. It's not fancy, it's going to be cut out of the paper, so yeah, but I will happily send them. So there. Any last minute questions? Oh, when will your next sketchbook tour be? Quite soon, actually, because I'm almost done with my sketchbook. Where is it? Yeah, this one that I've been carrying around since August 17th. So yeah, it's almost through. There are some good and less good stuff in there, but that's what a sketchbook is for. So I'm excited to finish this one actually because I have so many and I always get excited to get into a new one. So yeah, this one is almost done. So yeah, that's gonna be soon. And yeah. How much? How much for what? For sending the doodles of your pets? Well, just postage, possibly. But yeah, I don't really mind sending these out. These are just pieces of paper. It's not gonna be like a weird thing to send out. Where do we send it to? Where do you send what? Hi, Joke. Joke is asking, will there be more watercolor, handmade watercolor videos soon, and more to follow? Yeah, we'll try to have more eventually. Probably kind of live streams about this stuff, like when I'm mulling, like I did for the last one, which was quite fun. And I was like mulling, and instead of throwing away the color that remained on the slab, we just mixed in new colors with it. So by the way, that's drying. I filled a couple of pans with the mixes we made, and that's been quite fun. Oh, the images of pets. I will send them to the people whose pets I've drawn. I won't send them to people who like random pets to people that it's not their pets, if that makes sense. But if you have a pet and you would like me to draw the pet, you can use where is it? Yeah, the hashtag Eve Draws Pets. If you use Instagram, you can post your pictures there, and you can also email me your pet pictures at boltsvolt at gmail.com. All in one thing. If you go to my about page on YouTube, like you have a little about section, I think you can sort of reveal the email there and just write to me there. Yeah, I will not send pets to people to random people. Like if I've drawn your pet, write to me and I will send it to you. Do partners qualify? In what way? Oh well, thanks, Polar Bear. That's really nice. I'm glad. I'm glad that I can help to calm down because that's a really important thing to be able to calm down. I just keep showing Sue. Yeah. Well, Spaz is our featured pet for today. Oh, you guys. So yes. So I guess coming shortly will be more. I'm trying to get some handmade paints dry so I can have some of that. And I have the Animal Artist Collective piece soon also. And then the sketchbook is almost done, and I have plenty of stuff to review still, and plenty of stuff to swatch still. So, yep, this is not about to be the end of content for me. I'm still quite inspired, and I still have many ideas. Oh, thank you guys. I'm really glad. Um, do you use preservatives in your DIY paints? I use honey because honey is a good way to help preserve paints, and also I think there's a bit of it in my pre-made binder formula. So I haven't had any issues with something weird happening to the paints so far, and I've kept some of them in jars for many months, and when I open them up, they're still good. So it seems to be working fine. Honey is a good preservative because it never really goes bad. So it does two jobs. It preserves the paints and it keeps them relatively easy to re-wet. So yeah, I'm gonna need a break. And I forgot about my tea, and now it's gotta be dry. It's gotta be cold. I will try to work some Potter's Pink in my next batch. So far I have some salmon. I have a couple of Spanish gold ochre. The mix we made, like the blue-gray and minty colors we mixed the other day. Perhaps a pan or two of Prussian green. And I gotta check my inventory because I have like random pans, like one pan of a certain color and a couple of pans of another color that are leftovers from some time ago. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty eclectic the next update. So yeah. Do I use expensive pigments or whatever suits you? I try to go the route of whatever suits me, as long as it's non-toxic. I've purchased a couple of super expensive pigments, but it was cases of me really wanting a color. Usually I try to go for the more easily affordable stuff. But yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna close it here. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And there will be more paint making videos and live streams coming. Possibly on Thursdays when it does happen, because that's usually the day I try to save a bit of time for mixing paints. So that would be on Tuesdays if it were to happen. And yeah, so thank you very much everyone for being there and being with me through this sort of a small rant or demonstration thing. Primary colors is something that is really important to me for some reason, and I'm really serious about the fact that magenta is a better primary color than red. So I'm glad that you were all fine with me demonstrating this stuff here, and hopefully that will help someone make a better choice when it comes to mixing super bright colors. So have a great day everyone, have a great weekend, and see you all next time. Bye bye.